A big upgrade to Marcos Alonso there, Scott?
Do you know what? I think Marcos Alonso has been a fantastic servant for the club. I think he's been great in that 3-4-3 system, especially under Conte. I just don't see him as a defender. He's not a defender. He's someone who doesn't think first. We saw before the game what he was like last week about just switching off. Ben Chilwell is a fantastic defender. He's very good going forward. He's got a great left foot. He's quick. For me, he's England's left back for the next 10 years. England have a problem with left back at the moment. So I think once he's fit, he's going to show that he can be there for the next 5 to 10 years because, honestly, he's got absolutely everything, as well as the hair product.
Where does this leave Alonso then in terms of his future with Chelsea, Dave?
No, that's it for Alonso. I think the game. I think every player knows when they have had a game where they've been caught out. I mean, Gary Neville has always said funnily enough, it was against West Brom, his game, where he knew that his days were numbered. And Alonso last week, I did the game over here for radio, and I watched him, and I kind of felt sorry for him, which is not what any professional ever wants another professional to think of them, to feel sorry for them, because he was caught out time and time again. He was trying to get forward, but he couldn't get back. And this is why Chelsea have spent £50 million on Ben Chilwell. It's the long-term replacement. I'm not saying that Alonso might not get a couple of games here and there.
Do you still see him in Chelsea, at least?
Possibly. I'm not sure what cover they've got for Chilwell outside of Alonso. But it's certainly his long-term future, if you like, or even his short-term future, his next 1 or 2 seasons, they're not at Chelsea.
And it certainly didn't help he had that little row with Frank Lampard there, Scott.
You know what? These things happen, Michelle. Frank won't mind about that. You know, if it's done in a professional way. I mean, the row he had was the fact that he sat and watched the rest of the West Brom game on the bus. That's unprofessional, and I'm sure he not just got told off, but got fined for that as well. That's lacking team spirit. Now, everyone can have a bad game, but if you have had a bad game, you sit with the team. You might be really angry at the manager for being taken off, but you sit with the team and you sit with the subs bench. The fact that he went off, I think he deserved to get whatever he got from Frank. In terms of going forward, there's obviously Emerson, who can be a backup as well. I think Alonso, if he doesn't go,
Emerson also stuffed up against Spurs, didn't he?
Yes, yeah. I mean, we're talking backups, and what Chelsea have needed. We looked at the goals at last season, or we talked about the goals they conceded last season. We've talked about the goals they've conceded this season. If Frank Lampard needs to get his back five, which he's pretty close to doing, once he's done that, he can work on that, and you will see those numbers come down eventually in terms of conceding goals. Ben Chilwell for me. Reece James is the next Chelsea right back for 10 years after Azpilicueta. I think this is probably Azpilicueta's last season. There's Thiago Silva. And then it's interesting between Kurt Zouma and Christensen. Christensen, the ball player, very good. He's done quite well this season. But for me, you stick Zouma alongside because defenders have to defend first and foremost, and that's what he can do.